Ever feel like kind of lost at sea with your faith, like you're just drifting along, not really sure which way to go?
Yeah, I think we've all been there at some point. It's a common struggle.
It really is. So today, we're going deep on this, and we're looking at a powerful message from Apostle John Isaias Moore.
Oh, interesting.
And it's all about why studying the Bible is like, I don't know, finding a compass and a map for a much stronger walk with God. A more fulfilling one, too.
It's so true. And I love how Apostle Moore just jumps right in and addresses this. You know, he points out that a lot of Christians, they just aren't as familiar with the Bible as they could be.
And that lack of familiarity can leave us vulnerable, right?
Absolutely. He actually uses this analogy of signing a contract without even reading the fine print.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. You know, you wouldn't do that in a business deal.
No.
You want to know what you're getting into, right?
Exactly.
And it's the same with our faith.
So what's the solution then? What does he say we should do?
Well, his answer's pretty simple, actually. It's just to become a student of the Word yourself.
Okay.
He uses this example of the Bereans from the Bible. They didn't just blindly accept what they were told, you know?
Right.
They went back and they verified it in the scriptures themselves.
And fact-checking. I love that.
Yeah. And I think there's a powerful lesson there for all of us.
You know, I used to think Bible study was this thing that was just for, like, pastors and scholars, you know?
Yeah.
But Apostle Moore makes it clear that this is for every single believer.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's get into the why. Why is studying the Bible so important for just everyday Christians like you and me?
Yeah.
And he starts off by talking about understanding God's character.
Right.
What does he mean by that?
Well, think about it. Like, if you want to get to know someone really well, you spend time with them.
Yeah.
You learn about their past.
Yeah.
You understand what makes them tick.
Right.
And the Bible, it's kind of like a window into God's very own character. It reveals his attributes, his love, his justice, his mercy. Like, for example, we see how his justice is always tempered with mercy, which gives us hope, you know?
It does.
Even when we mess up.
Yeah, even when we make mistakes.
Exactly.
I know for me, the more I understand God's character, the more I can actually trust him.
Right.
Even when things in life get really difficult.
Absolutely.
It just deepens that relationship you have with God, that personal relationship.
It really does. And that leads us to the next big reason that Apostle Moore talks about. It's knowing God's will.
Okay, knowing God's will, but doesn't that make the Bible sound like a rule book or something?
Yeah.
Or like an instruction manual? Like do this and don't do that.
That's actually a pretty common misunderstanding.
Okay.
It's not really about getting those step-by-step instructions for every single little decision in your life.
Okay.
It's more about understanding God's overall purpose, you know, for your life and making choices that line up with that. It's almost like a company's mission statement.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't tell you every little task that you got to do each day,
Right.
but it provides that big picture framework
Okay.
that guides the decisions.
So it's like the big why behind everything, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so by studying the Bible, then we can understand what's important to God.
Yes,
And then try to live our lives in a way that actually reflects those values.
absolutely. It's about aligning your life with God's own heart. And that leads us to that final big why
Okay.
that Apostle Moore emphasizes. Spiritual growth.
Okay, so it's not just about having the knowledge then.
Right.
It's about putting it into practice in our lives.
Exactly. Knowledge without action is kind of incomplete,
Okay.
you know? It's like reading a cookbook but never actually cooking the meal.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's asking yourself things like, okay, if the Bible teaches forgiveness, how can I apply that in my relationships this week?
Yeah.
If it talks about generosity, what are some practical steps that I can take to actually be more giving? You know?
That's a great point. So Apostle Moore, he gives us some practical tips, right, on how to do this, how to study the Bible.
He does. He does. So first of all, establish a routine. Even just 15 minutes a day can really make a difference.
Okay, 15 minutes.
Yeah. And try connecting it with something you already do, like having your morning coffee.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe winding down before you go to bed.
Okay, yeah, make it a habit. I like that.
Cool.
But what about choosing a Bible?
Right.
Because there are so many different options out there.
There are tons. If you're kind of new to in-depth study, a study Bible can be a great help.
Okay.
They've got notes that actually give you context,
Like,
commentaries that help you understand the meaning,
okay.
cross-references that connect everything to other passages.
That was like a guide.
It's like a built-in guide, yeah.
Okay. Now, you mentioned application earlier. It really feels like that's the most important thing. Taking what we learn and then actually putting it into practice in our lives.
Absolutely. That's the key.
So to wrap up, you don't have to be a Bible scholar to get something out of studying the Bible.
Right.
Even those little steps, if you do them consistently, they can really impact your life
It's true.
big time.
Yeah.
So pick one of those practical tips that we talked about today
Yeah.
and give it a try this week.
And as you open up your Bible, just remember, it's not just some book of rules,
Yeah.
It's an invitation into a deeper relationship, a more fulfilling relationship with the God who loves you.
It really is. So much to discover in there.
There is.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep seeking truth and keep exploring the Word.
Absolutely.
Ever feel like kind of lost?